Estás viendo Canal América, televisión dominicana para el mundo.
A Time for True show is sponsored by the Office of Dr. Bernard Fialkoff, a periodontal, dental implant and laser specialist in New York City, for over 40 years. Dr. Fialkoff was honored by the International College of Dentists and Pierre Fauchard, and received the Presidential Lifetime Humanitarian Honor from the White House. Call us at 718-229-3838.
Sometimes life can be so damn hard. You don't know where to go. Everything keeps falling apart. Yeah. You try to do your best, but only God knows that you've given everything you've got, but the world takes you down. You just keep moving on. Let your fears.
Welcome back to A Time for Truth show. I'm your host, Dr. Bernard Fialkoff, and it's a pleasure to have you back with us again tonight. And tonight we're going to do a show on something that very important investment. Something that we really need to pay attention to, and that creates a lot of future for us. And we're talking about our children, our grandchildren, and the future of our societies. You know, in this world, we've been beset with a tremendous drug problem. And there's a country that's done very, very well, and we're very lucky and honored tonight to have someone very special all the way from Europe, all the way from Viking land, from Sweden. And Buddha, if you will, let's put the pictures up on the screen of international humanitarian Asa Graaf from Sweden. There she is. There you see her giving a talk. And she's the chairman and founder of Droga Information for Allah, the Foundation of Drug Information for Everyone, which she founded in 1992 with the goal of preventing drug use and providing education on the truth about illicit drugs. She is also curator at Grundskolan, and her foundation's target audience includes young people and parents. And she works on a corporate level, training employees and with many different companies across Sweden, Europe, and receives support and contributions all across the European continent. Her primary focus is educating our young people and training hundreds of thousands of school students to live a drug-free and healthy lifestyle. Today, according to the United Nations Office of Drug Control, Sweden actually has one of the lowest drug usage rates in the Western world due to its concentration on prevention and education. Asa is also an author and has published books on drugs, is editor of Droga Information for Allah, an internationally renowned drug speaker, and course leader on her online platform, learnforlife.online. Having presented to over 800,000 people. Her work, aside from her home Sweden, has taken her to the Czech Republic, Netherlands, Spain, New Zealand, Norway, Finland, and the United States. Her organization's website is www.drogainformation.nu. And Buddha, if you bring her up live, let's bid a warm welcome to Asa Graaf, Time for Truth show. Welcome, Asa.
Thank you very much. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for
Thank you
that
for.
very nice presentation.
Well, you merited it much more, but if I went into everything you've done, the show would have been used up and we would never speak to you. So our viewers need to know that you've done much more than that, but they get a little brief glimpse, and let's really go right into your life, what you do, because it's so important. So I want to start out first about you. What
Yeah.
were your dreams when you were a young woman?
My dream was to be an actress. That was my big dream. I was in acting school. I was doing dance classes, ballet, painting. I want to be an artist. So that was my dream as a profession. And I still love artists, and I love the way of creating things. And I think artists is very important because they give hope to people, and they give aesthetic. So yeah, that was my dream when I was young. I still love it, I must say.
Well, I got to say, whenever I see you or speaking or in your videos, you have that beingness, you have that aura. So definitely, I see it come out constantly. And, I think it's beautiful, like you said, because it creates so much life and energy for people in this world that's gotten so crazy. So then, now here you are, you want to be an actress, and now over time, you start pursuing a career as a drug educator. How'd that come to be?
Well, when I was young, I tried drugs myself. I never become like a drug addict, but it was anyway too much. And I did see what happened to some of my friends. They came into problems. Some is not living today. So when I got my first child, I really felt I can be a good mother. I can do my best to raise her, but she will go out in the world. She will. I was actually thinking, I hope she don't get so crazy like I was. Then I will be a very worried mother. No, so actually that made me want to start this organization because I wanted to educate children. I wanted to help children. I want them to get a life that they can reach their goals so they can be happy. So that's why I decided to work with the drug prevention, because it went close to my heart.
Well, it's such a beautiful purpose, because I look at what's happening in our world and how different it's become. I remember when I was a teenager, things were so normal. We would go into the neighborhood. I would play or hang out, hang out with my friends. And, nowadays it seems like everything is, in terms of that, has been lost. And the cell phone, and it's been very, very impersonal. So I think what you're doing is so important. And so now, what from there? Then you founded this group, right? It's called
Yeah.
Drug Information for Allah. Allah means what? For all people?
Yes. Allah means all. Everybody.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And so you founded this on your own, or with your husband? How did that work out?
Actually, it's a quite funny story, because I had my first child. She was just a baby, and I actually decided myself one day I really want to do something. So I started it. It was I haven't met. I had another father we divorced. So I met my husband I have today. I met him after I started my organization. So I started very simple way. This may sound a little bit funny, but I started in my house at home, and I had a walk-in closet, and I made that to my office.
Okay.
Very small. So I started first with fundraising, because I was thinking, of course, I did all the legal things. So then I started with fundraising, and in the old times, like 30 years ago, we had the yellow pages. So I pick up the phone and I start to call. I just random people. So I started to fundraise for the purpose of educating kids. And when my baby was asleep in the beginning. So yes, that was how I started. And then I got an office in Gothenburg downtown, and hired some people, and then we got more people and we fundraised more, and then we started with the drug education in the school. That's how I started. It was just an idea and I just did it.
Amazing. Well, it takes a lot of guts because here you were cold calling these people. You didn't know them, right?
No, I didn't know them. I had to make a game because I wanted to make it a little bit funny. So sometimes I said, have you heard about us, in the phone call? Like, and some people said yes. It was totally new. It was like a little bit, yeah.
Amazing. Well, that I give you a lot of credit because I know that confronting that at the beginning, especially when people don't even know you, is such a tremendous undertaking, and you did that. And I can see you. I can see you in your little place there, in that little space that you had, and it's amazing. And how old now? And your child was what, a year old, or how old was your child?
How old I was?
No, how old was
I
your
was,
child?
when I started, I was 28.
Okay, and how old was your? You said you had a child at that time, and you do it when that your
Ah,
child was
she was
sleeping, huh?
9 months.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
and I had another friend who also had a baby, so I took in two phones. We didn't have cell phone in that time, it was landlines. So we helped each other. So she came to my place. We had both kids, and when they were sleeping. So it started a little bit very dull,
Amazing.
but it was
Wow.
very funny.
It's amazing. And that name that I mentioned, that's the name that you had at the beginning, or at that point it was a
No,
different name,
in
or?
the beginning, we were called National Office for a Drug-Free Sweden, because then at that time, we mainly did fundraising to support other groups that were doing the drug education. Like we worked together with Narconon in Sweden, and we worked together with other organizations. And then,
Yes.
but at long as we progressed and worked, this name was more, it fit more as we do that more now. So we changed.
Beautiful. And now
Oh,
tell us about what you've been finding, because you and I were speaking about this, the criminality level in Sweden. What's been happening with that?
exactly. There has been a big, it's one specific kind of criminality. It is actually the shootings with guns. And also has put, these bombs in people's houses with explosions and things, and
Wow.
shooting of and killing of very young people, mainly boys.
Mhm.
And all this is connected to the criminal gangs. There are several gangs fighting about their area where to sell the drugs and do their activities. So we didn't have that before in Sweden. So it's there were a survey. They checked this out in Europe, and most country has decreased on this, but Sweden has more now than before. So this is a big ruin for many people, a problem. And so we are also now focus a little bit in the work how to help in this area with the criminality, but it's not very easy. But the new government is it's putting a lot of effort here to get more polices, to have in this, there is certain areas it's not everywhere, but Sweden is not a big country, so it affects a lot of people, and a lot of people I know have heard this outside their houses away. So I don't know if this is true, but I read that the only country that has more of this kind of shooting is Mexico, and then it's Sweden. It's like weird. It's very
Amazing.
unreal, actually.
It's a little strange because I think actually, from what I was researching, and I want to ask you, that Sweden has actually done a very good job with drug control. Is that correct?
Yeah. So it's very strange, actually. So, yes, if you compare the use of drugs amongst, for instance, every year they do a lot of statistics here. We have a lot of statistics here in Sweden. So every year they check the drug use amongst people who are 15 years old and then also 18 years old. And that has gone down. And we are number 5 in Europe from the bottom, lowest. So we have very good statistic on that. We are one of the countries that has less drug use amongst young children or kids. So
Absolutely.
yeah, sorry.
No, I said so. It's kind of strange that this
Yeah,
criminality is occurring because the drug usage is going down.
yeah, yeah, I know that is a bit strange, but there has been a lot of changes in the Swedish society with these gangs coming in, and they are connection, like one is called the Fox network, it's from Turkey, and then we have from different countries. It's like, and they recruit kids to help them because they want people who cannot get into prison. So they have very, very young kids working for them now. So there is also a big effort that needs to be done to help these children so they don't get into these gangs too early. But they are now. We didn't have this before in this way.
Very interesting. And now your program and your group, tell me like what kind of different activities you do and what your focus is in Sweden.
Our focus is on the kids and the youth. And we do lectures and we do education and we visit them in the schools. That is the most important thing because the kids is the future. And when we do our work with the lectures, we use very simple language. We don't use scientific words or anything. We make it easy to understand. We have a sense of humor in the lecture, so they laugh a lot because then we have their attention. And in the end, we always talk about goals in life, so they get inspired to go for the goals. And yeah, so they know what to do, so they can take their own decision. It's not like we say, you have to stop drugs, never take, we are no police. We are not like, we're going to hunt you down because you take drugs. No, we give them what is good with drugs because people try drugs. Something must feel good about it. What is bad with drugs because it's hard. They try to stop and cannot do it. So they get all the truth about drugs. They get the data so they can take their own decision. That is the most important thing. So it feels like their own decision.
Exactly. It's so important because I know that, with my own kids, because I had 4 teenagers, and trying to tell them to do something, I'd get the reverse reaction. And,
Yeah, I know. That's part of the game in that age.
Oh, it's very difficult. Now, I want to ask you something that I want to bring on the show because I know she's a friend of yours, and she has a group also that I'm not sure if it's in Sweden, it's all across of Europe, but Renee has this group called Ovum. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's true. Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that. What is that group all about?
It's a new group, and what I know is that this will be a group that everybody with the same purpose can join. Different groups, like-minded groups that really want to have this. The Child Convention. Do you say that in English?
Yes.
UN. Yes, you have this laws or rules that we follow so we can save kids from drugs and protect them from drugs. So this is like this big international group is for other groups that want to have the same purpose to really help the kids. So yes, and Renee, she's very competent and she has so much contact and she has been working so long with drugs. So she's like a very good person to lead this, what do you call it, platform or group of the groups? Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, it's very interesting because in March, we're looking at the United Nations having a drug conference, and that's during their it's called CSW 68, where they're concentrating on the empowerment of women globally. And what they found is that, in these crime areas, that the women are subservient, and so they end up at risk. They end up getting used or abused sexually, and they get used as what they call, I guess, a drug mule to actually take drugs in their body to transport them. And I'm curious. Do you find this happening also in Sweden and in Europe? What is your opinion on that?
Yes, that trafficking and drugs and all this happens everywhere. I have not been working personally very close to this, but we are starting a project, but that is in Africa actually. There was a Swedish woman again, who contacted us because she wanted us to help because she has 3 children and some of them work in the cannabis fields, like children labor, and
Yes,
they
child camp.
smoke and they get very affected of this. So that is one project that we will start next year, also to support her organization in it's actually in Ghana in Africa. So she had a lot of these stories with what you talked about. It's horrible. So we will do that. Yeah.
I see. Okay. Asa, you've done so much and you're doing so much constantly. I think what you would say to these people watching, the leaders watching this show, and the leaders who are going to watch this show, what message would you like to relay to the viewers and specifically the leaders who are going to watch this video in the next few weeks, in the next month, and the next year?
I would like to say that focus to help and create a safe environment for the children. We need to help the children because they don't want to be drug users. They don't want to sell drugs. They want to have a good life. They want to be a doctor. They want to be a football player. They want to be something else. So we as adults, especially leaders, we need to take that responsibility and really be there for our children. I think that is so important. And that can be done in many ways. It can help the parents, but we need to help the children. That is so important because they are the future. And I want to thank all leaders who is doing that also, because I think we are so many people that are doing this, but we need to be more people doing it.
Absolutely. I mean, with 8 billion people, more or less, on the planet, we need so many involved in this. It's a very good point you're making. To those of you watching this show, whether you're in Europe with Asa or United States with us, or really it has to be a global family. And Asa, what do you feel about all this, the cell phone technology and how it's taken away from family time and its effect on not really having family interaction, social interaction, and then the drug use? What's your feeling about that?
I worked as a counselor in a school for a while, for some years, and it created so much conflict, these different groups. And one thing that really scared me a little bit, it was this with they called it expo accounts. They open up and they filmed people when they were what do you say? Bad things happened to them, or they could threat people with, if you don't do what I say, I will film you and will put it out with your address and stuff. And I also have heard about very, very young girls that were showing themselves half naked. They were 9, 10 years. So they are getting affected, and it's no good role models. Many of the, I don't say everything is bad now. It sounds very negative, but I mean, there was so much conflicts every week. There were bullying. There were like pushing drugs, normalizing drugs, and parents has no clue what's happening out there. Some of these things was really disgusting. And it's like, for me, it's like the gladiator game, but on the phone. It's happening for real, and it's violent and sexual. And I think we need to very much keep an eye on that and spend more time. Do things, sport, go out with the kids, have fun, talk to them, communication. That is the best thing. Create a safe space with your kids so they don't get angry with them if they did something bad. Help them and create a safe, a safe space for the kids so they can say anything to you. Because if they don't say it, they are already embarrassed about it. They know it's wrong. That's why they don't say it. So make it okay to tell when they do something wrong and help them. That is one of the key things.
You know, you're so right, because once they can't speak to you, you lose them and they start distancing. You're so right. You know, we have about 30 seconds left. What final comment would you like to leave our viewers, Asa?
Thank you for listening, and go for your goals and do things that you feel proud of. I want to say. And thank you, Ben.
It's a pleasure to have you. You know, I know in Europe it's a little late, so we really appreciate you making this effort. And it's amazing how much energy you have all of the time, all day long. I'm so happy that you exist out there. And for those of you who want to reach Asa, what is your email address to reach you?
asa@droginformation.nu. Can I write it somewhere?
Well, repeat it again.
asa@droginformation.nu. That means now in Sweden. Drug information now. Nu.
.nu.
I do like this. Oh.
Okay.
I'm writing
so
it.
You know
I don't
what?
know if you see it.
Yeah, no problem. What we'll do is we'll put that on after the show and we'll put it in with the engineer. Thank you so much, Asa. For those of you watching, let's do what Asa said. Make a space that's safe for our children. Let them feel comfortable. Let's give them things to do. Let's be more socially interactive, and let's educate, you know, and let's take the role of what Sweden, the success in Sweden, education, prevention, sports, other activities. Thank you, Asa Graaf.
Thank you so much. Nice. It's a pleasure to be here. Yes.
And have a good night. We'll see you on the next time. A Time for Truth show. Be well.
This show was sponsored by A Time for Truth Foundation Incorporated as a community service.
Sometimes life can be so damn hard. You don't know where to go. Everything keeps falling apart. Yeah. You try to do your best, but only God knows that you've given everything you've got. But the world takes you down. You just keep moving on. Let your feet